You can see straight through it. And almost nobody knows what it is actually made of.
Half of that teacup was once this. Bone.
Here in Stoke-on-Trent, they have been doing this for 250 years. 1250 degrees. 24 hours. There is no second chance. A single cup can sell for more than £300. This is how it is made.
It begins with a byproduct. Bone left over from the meat industry that would otherwise be waste.
It arrives already cleaned and degreased. From here, it has to become pure mineral.
Everything organic has to be burned away. Every trace.
1,000 degrees for several hours. This is called calcining. Watch the color change. That is every trace of protein and fat leaving. What comes out is bone ash, pure calcium phosphate and nothing else. It crumbles like chalk, and this is what gives bone china its strength and its glow. Now it is milled, not for minutes, but for days. 36 hours of grinding until the powder is finer than talc. 10 microns, fine enough to float on air. Every batch is tested. Purity here decides whether the cup will be translucent or cloudy. Bone ash, china clay, and Cornish stone. 3 powders, 1 formula. 50% bone ash.
25 clay.
25 stone. Below 50, it cannot legally be called bone china.
The powders go into water, not into dough.
This is slip. Liquid clay, with the consistency of double cream.
It has to run off the blade in one unbroken ribbon. That is the only test that matters here.
Magnets pull out every speck of iron. One speck becomes a black spot in the finished cup. Viscosity is timed to the second. Too thick, and the mould will not fill. From here, it is pumped straight to the casting hall. Before a single cup exists, someone has to carve the original by hand. And it is carved deliberately oversized, because everything shrinks in the kiln. From that master, a block mould. From the block mould, a case mould. And from the case, hundreds of working moulds. Each one lasts about 80 casts.
Every single one of these is a plaster mould, and every one is made by hand.
The mould is clamped, and the seam must be perfect.
Now the plaster does something remarkable.
The dry plaster sucks water out of the slip, and a solid shell grows from the outside in. 12 minutes. That is what sets the wall thickness of the cup. The leftover slip is poured back out. What stays behind is the cup.
This is Greenware. Still soft, still full of water, and easier to break than an eggshell.
One careless grip, and it collapses. The seam left by the mould is shaved away by hand. Then sponged.
until you cannot feel where the two halves met.
Handles are cast separately in their own moulds.
They are glued on with the same slip the cup is made from. No adhesive, ever.
Every handle is set to the same angle, a degree out, and the eye notices. Then they dry, slowly, for 2 full days. A dry cup sounds different from a damp one. That sound is the only signal he needs. Nothing unfired is ever wasted. It simply becomes slip again.
Water is pressed back out and recovered. Even the water goes round again.
Plates are not cast. They are made from stiff clay instead.
This is called roller head forming. 2 seconds per plate.
The rim is trimmed while it still spins. "1,500 plates in a single shift. A teapot needs 5 separate mould pieces, and every one has to line up. The spout is cast alone, and it is the piece that breaks most often. The holes behind the spout are cut by hand, one at a time. Now comes the part that destroys more china than anything else. A tunnel kiln, 60 meters long. The cups take a full day to travel through it. 1,250 degrees. Hot enough to melt aluminium 4 times over.
And here is the strange part. Every cup shrinks by 1/5. They cannot be cooled quickly. Rush it and the whole car cracks. This is biscuit. Hard, matte, and already stronger than most porcelain.
And the light is already coming through. The ping test. A clear ring means it is sound. A dull thud means a hidden crack. Around 1 in 20 never makes it past this bench. Only fired breakages leave the site, and even those are crushed for roadstone. Now it gets its glass coat. One dip. 1.5 seconds. Done entirely by feel.
The porous biscuit drinks the water instantly. Watch it dry before your eyes. Foot must be wiped bare, or the cup fuses to the kiln shelf forever.
Any missed patch is painted in by hand.
Then a second firing, a little cooler, at 1080 degrees.
The glaze melts into a sheet of glass, thinner than a human hair. And woe it shines. This is the test that separates bone china from everything else on Earth. The glow has to be even. A dark band means the wall thickness varied in the mould.
Same light, same distance. That is the difference bone ash makes.
The decorating shop. This is where the price multiplies. Patterns are printed as ceramic transfers, floated off in water. Every bubble has to be pushed out, or it will burn into a blister. That is real gold. 22 carat, painted by hand, in one unbroken pass. Start and finish have to meet invisibly. It takes years to learn this.
And right now, it does not look like gold at all.
A third firing. 800 degrees, just enough to fuse the gold into the glaze.
And it comes out as gold.
Then burnished by hand, until it reflects the room. The finest pieces are still painted entirely by hand. One cup can take a full day.
The recipe has barely changed since 1796.
400 people work here, and the average time served is over 20 years. The gold band cannot be taught from a book. It is passed hand to hand. And that small mark is the only proof a buyer will ever see. Every finished piece is inspected under raking light. Rim diameter, height, handle position, all checked against the master. Cup and saucer are matched as a pair and stay together from here on. One final ping. A good cup rings for a full 3 seconds.
The back stamp goes on only after it has passed everything.
Wrapped by hand, boxed by hand.
A full 6-piece set can leave this room worth more than £2,000. From here to 80 countries. This is where most of it ends up. And not one guest will ever guess what it is made of. Bone, clay, and stone. Fired 3 times and turned into light. If you enjoyed this journey, subscribe to Inside the Production Line for more like it.